Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today's video is sponsored by Cook Unity. Cook Unity is a personalized meal subscription service for busy people who want to eat healthily. There are hundreds of ready-to-eat meals that are prepared by award-winning chefs, and they arrive so conveniently right at your doorstep. I think what I appreciate most about Cook Unity is the variety. There are hundreds of dishes to choose from that are prepared by award-winning chefs, tons of variety in dishes, but most importantly for me, you can sort by a lot of different dietary options. Vegan, for example, gluten-free or keto or high protein. If you have a very specific regimen that you're trying to follow, if you're trying to be very disciplined about what you're eating, you can sort by those options. I also appreciate that Cook Unity meals are made with fresh produce and responsibly raised meat, and all the packaging is either compostable, recyclable, or reusable. I really liked how my meals came delivered. They came in a reusable insulated bag, nice and chilled. I also thought the meals were very thoughtfully packaged. I like that you can get a little preview of the meal, and all the information about how to heat it up is provided on the top, including the chef who created it, the name of the dish, and all the ingredients and nutritional information. My favorite meal for this week was the Mexican cochinita pibil pork bowl made by Chef Ruben Garcia. I loved the presentation of the dish. I loved how colorful it was, and there was lots of variety in taste and texture. So if you'd like to try Cook Unity for yourself, you can click the link down below and use my code to get 50% off your first order of chef-made meals that are delivered fresh to your door. Big thanks to Cook Unity for sponsoring this video so I can make better videos for all of you. Alright, my lovelies, today we're going to be making butter, but more specifically cultured butter, or European style butter as it's also called. Now, if you haven't seen me make butter before, you should check out some other videos. I did a wartime recipe for extending butter. I also used a very old, 100-year-old contraption to make homemade butter as well. Butter, quite simply, is the fat that is contained in milk. Cream rises to the top of non-homogenized milk. The cream is collected and then it's churned or agitated so that the fat globules stick together, and that is the butter. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Until not too long ago, I learned what cultured butter means. Cultured in some respects means like sophisticated or fancy, but we're not talking about that. We're talking cultured meaning fermented. European style butter has a delicious kind of tanginess to it, which is created by the live active cultures or bacteria that are creating that tangy fermented flavor. And in fact, not too long ago here in the States, all butter was made this way. Milk was allowed to sit overnight so that the cream could float to the top and be collected to make butter. And in that time, it would culture or ferment a little bit overnight. So there was a little bit of a sourness. And then that cream would be churned and the butter would be separated, and that resulting liquid that would come out from the butter making process would be the buttermilk, which we can use to make pancakes and all kinds of wonderful things. But it has a pleasant tanginess exactly for that reason, because of those live active cultures present in the milk. Pasteurization, which is bringing the milk up to a high temperature to kill all of those live active bacteria. We no longer have that activeness, and we have sweet butter or sweet cream, but we don't have that nuanced, complex, tangy flavor any longer. But we can recreate that by adding live active cultures back to pasteurized milk so that they can create those tangy flavors. And that's what we're going to be doing today, which I'm super excited about because I've never done it before. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got a quart of cream here. Took off the label so you can see it a little better. And to that, I'm going to add our live active cultures, which means those bacteria that are in yogurt, in buttermilk, to make it nice and pleasantly tangy. With a clean spoon, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of this yogurt to my cream. You can also use creme fraiche, or you can use buttermilk, all of which contain live active cultures. This is very similar to how I made my homemade coconut cold yogurt, the fancy, very expensive yogurt. You can make it yourself for a whole lot less. And now we're simply going to shake this and agitate it until this is all well mixed. So I looked up several different recipes on how to do this at home, and I will include the links in the description if you want to have supplemental reading. And after we mix this really well, now we're gonna loosen the cap just a little bit, and we're gonna put this in a warm spot in your kitchen and let it sit for about 18 to 36 hours, depending on how warm it is in your kitchen. It's summer here on the East Coast. It is quite warm, so I let mine sit for a full 24 hours. After it's sat for 24 hours, tighten your lid and then place it in the refrigerator to cool for at least 24 hours, because we want the fat molecules to solidify so that we can churn it and they'll come out of suspension easier. So here is a bottle of cream that has been cultured, and now we are ready to churn it or agitate it or get all those fat globules out of solution. So nice and cold. Now I have a food processor here. You can also do this in a stand mixer with a wire whisk attachment. You can also make butter by pouring cream into a baby food jar, a small amount, and then shaking it. It's actually a lot of fun. I remember doing that as a little kid, and then we smeared it onto saltine crackers. It's pretty delightful. I don't know, it doesn't. Oh yeah, look at that. So there's some chunkage. So we're gonna pour our quart of cream in here, and now we're just gonna whiz this up. That's another reason why I wanted to do it in my food processor, so you could see it a little bit better, because this is transparent. Here we go. It's kind of cool. So the first thing that will happen is it will form into whipped cream. Oh look, see, it's already starting to thicken. Yes, you can make whipped cream in the food processor. Never have I ever. Look, that is so luscious. It's so cool. I love cooking. There's so many sensory things that happen. You can hear it starting to change. Look, it's looking like ice cream, and it's super thick. And now it's kind of loosening up a little bit. It's getting really grainy. Oh, look, now it's really turning. Look, see how it's getting super grainy and it's turning really yellow? Yes. Yes. Look at that. The buttermilk has really come out of it. Look how liquidy it is. And this is really chunky. Oh, that's so cool. So look at this. You can clearly see the yellow butter and that liquidy stuff, which is the buttermilk. I've got a bowl here with a strainer and a few layers of cheesecloth. Now we're gonna pour the butter and buttermilk into the strainer. Another reason why I opted to use a food processor, well, because I had one, but also because using a wire whisk attachment on your stand mixer, the butter would get trapped in the whisk. It's a little harder to extricate, I would imagine. Oh my goodness. So using a blade like this is really simple. And now we're going to gather the ends of the cloth and squeeze. We want to remove all of this liquid buttermilk out of the butter, because this is what will make the butter go rancid, is the excess buttermilk. So we're going to do our best to remove it, and this buttermilk is not going to go to waste. We're going to save it so we can make pancakes or waffles. My dear friend Preston, who sadly is no longer with us, her husband Henry, used to love having a glass of buttermilk. So you can drink this as well too. Look how sexy that is. That is so cute. Okay, so now the butter is starting to kind of push through the membrane of the cheesecloth. So that's as far as we can go on that level. Next, we're going to do a step called washing the butter, which means removing the excess buttermilk that's still trapped in the butter. Because we're going to be kneading it and working it, that's going to warm up the butter. But we want it to remain solid so that it can be separated from the buttermilk. So we're using ice water, and you can imagine that's going to be pretty cold in my hands, so I'm going to be using some gloves. So look how sunny yellow that is. Isn't that gorgeous? It's still pretty soft. I'm going to take icy water, add it to our butter, and then just kind of press. And you'll see that the water goes milky in color because we're releasing the buttermilk. Now we're going to knead the butter in the icy water, and you'll see the water get milky. So we're gonna do this 4-6 times or until the water goes clear. Okay, so we're gonna discard this water. And repeat. So cool. Okay, 6th and final washing. And the water does look clear. So we're done. One more step. If you want your butter to be salted, you can add salt. I'm adding some Malden sea salt, flaky sea salt, to the butter. A little bit of flaky sea salt right into the butter, and I'm just going to knead it in. Just press it in. Clean towel to dry it off a bit. Get some of that excess water, and then we're ready to wrap it to store it. Place it into parchment, and we can wrap it in our parchment, a log. Have you seen Amish rolled butter? Now we're making the homemade version. Oh, I forgot to weigh it. 357 grams, which works out to be 12.6 ounces, so almost a pound. So about $9. Look how stinking adorable that is. Now this will keep in your refrigerator for about 1 month, if it lasts that long. Alrighty, my lovelies, here we have it. My homemade cultured butter. Doesn't it look great? Yes! Cannot wait to give it a taste. I got some homemade bread here, and we're gonna give our butter a taste. So, hasn't been refrigerated, so it's pretty spreadable at this point. Oh my goodness, yes. I love butter. Itadakimasu. Could have added just a little bit more salt. Butter makes everything better. Oh my gosh. Cool, rich, buttery, with a nice little tanginess that almost makes it cheesy, but it's very, very subtle. It's not cheesy. It doesn't taste like a block of Parmesan cheese or anything like that. It's just a nice complexity that's just delicious. And very easy to make. So easy to make. You don't need any dips, spreads, just butter. So good. I think I'm gonna add a few flecks of salt right on top. I know butter makers are probably like, what are you doing? But I think it does need a little bit more salt if we're gonna have it as a just spread like this. Oh. Kapow. Oh boy. The little crunch of the flecks of sea salt. Oh, so good. This is homemade sourdough bread, so this is bread that I can digest without any issues. So I'm eating my whole slice of bread right here because this is just so scrumptious. And a delightful little experiment. Really not much time at all. In a food processor, it clumped together in a matter of minutes. Washed it a few times, probably took about 10 minutes. Rolling it up, that's it. That's it. Super fun. If not made on the regular, you should at least try it once because it is a delightful process to witness and an even more delightful one to consume. Alright, my lovelies. Thanks as always for watching, and big thanks to Cook Unity for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to try Cook Unity for yourself and receive 50% off your first order, click the link down below and use my code. Thanks as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! I'm out of bread. I'm so sad. What else can I put this butter on? Everything.